Welcome to episode 428 of In Touch with iOS, the podcast that keeps you connected to the ever-changing Apple ecosystem. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg. Each week, we break down the latest news, updates, tips, and hidden features across iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Mac, Vision Pro, and Apple TV with insights from friends, experts, and the Apple community, because we read the release notes so you don't have to. So this is exciting. We have our whole panel back. Everybody's been having some changes in their schedules these last few weeks, but everybody's here. Let's go ahead and find out who is here. And I'm going to start with Jill McKinley. How you doing, Jill?
I'm doing great. We got some rain. I'm excited about that. So doing great.
Get excited about rain? Okay.
We're droughty.
Well, got plenty of it here too. Marty Jencius, great to see you. How you doing?
Thursday nights, it's the end of my work week. I don't have to finish all the teaching for the week, finished all the grading for the week, and so I'm a happy camper.
Awesome. And also here is Eric Bolden. How you doing, Eric?
Good. It's a dark and stormy night.
Oh.
It looks like you have the stormy night behind you.
Yeah, that was more yesterday than today, but today was kind of stormy too, so shit.
Okay. And the man, the myth, the legend, Jeff Gamet, he's here.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Chuck Joyner. But I mean, he is the man, the myth, the legend.
I thought he was just AI generated.
Well, that's part of the myth, yeah, and the legend, yeah. The great thing is we can update him at any time. So I think tonight we have Chuck 3.5.8.1 beta. But
3.14.
Yeah, but I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Good.
I am envious of those of you that are getting rain because I'm in Colorado. It's basically going to be on fire for the next few months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Eric, dark and stormy. Nice mixed drink.
There you go. All right. And he is back. We've missed you, Chuck Joyner. How you doing?
I'm good. I apologize. The schedules just have been just out of control, even more so than normal. But I'm happy to be at least calm for tonight. I won't speak for any other time in the future, but for right now,
that is good.
Except for a line of thunderstorms, I'm good.
Now we have him here too. Here too. But also here, Guy Serle.
Hey!
And how you doing, Guy?
I am road weary, but I am a happy man.
Good. Glad to hear that. And I want to thank Jeff and Patrice. We had the very first, I guess we can call it the reaction episode of In Touch with iOS this past Monday, as we reacted to the exciting announcements that we're going to talk about today from the WWDC. That was a lot of fun, and we're going to do a little difference here. We got a few different segments and such. So, but hope you enjoy it. And let's go ahead and get started. So I wanted to start off with, we're really going to focus on the WWDC. We're going to do the recap. There was so much to talk about, and my gosh, I have so many links. I could probably do like 5 shows at the rate that we had so much information here. So, but we're going to keep it concise here and give you some great stuff here. So, so let's go ahead and start with, I want to get everybody's first impressions of what was announced at WWDC. I'm kind of the see if you could think of it, what you thought. And I think the first thing I want to throw out to everybody is what was their biggest surprise with the announcements this past week? Start with you, Jeff.
Okay, my biggest surprise, I'm probably not going where a lot of people would expect because there's so many things that happen. My biggest surprise was when that they showed off the SAI stuff where they were actually demoing it. It was a real-time recording from 2 angles. So we saw the pauses that are actually happening. I was really surprised that they gave us a demo where it was as real and raw as it could be. In retrospect, they basically really had to do that because they had to show us what they were doing, because we are all still burned from 2 years ago when they crafted out of whole cloth features that literally didn't exist. So, but I was super surprised when I'm watching that. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, there's a lag here." And it took a little bit longer than you would expect for results to come back, but, oh my god, they're showing what it's actually doing without edits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'll hit that. That was kind of, well, that's a good segue for me. I think really the biggest surprise was the way they marked such a major departure from previous years, because they just did not talk about the OSs. They had it listed on the screen, but then they brought everything into one when they were talking about it, and AI and all the other topics. It was including the child safety, which I think was also a big surprise of how much they spent time on. So I found that to be interesting, the way that it was formatted. We're also used to, let's go iOS, iPad OS, Vision OS, all the OSs, and just hit each one of them. This time it wasn't. So I have a feeling this is going to be something we look to the future, to what they're going to do with these types of presentations, and with this as well. So, Chuck, what did you come up with? What you thought was a big surprise?
I think the thing that struck me the most, and this may surprise you, I felt like Craig Federighi really threw down the gauntlet to Europe at the very
Yeah.
end. I'm like, okay,
Yep.
so sorry, but our European users are not going to have access to this, until because of the regulatory issues. And I mean, he looked genuinely remorseful, but also, pardon me, about as firm as you've ever seen Craig, because usually he's happy to play just a little bit of the clown.
Mhm.
And he was, no, he really turned into an executive, and I was delighted to see it. But yeah, they could have wishy-washed that a lot easier, and instead they just picked up the glove and slapped Europe with it.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Marty, what about you? What was your impressions?
Well,
Biggest surprise, I should say. Biggest surprise.
biggest surprise. I think my biggest surprise was the whole system they set up for parental controls. And it was like that came out of left field. No one was talking about that. None of the rumors, none of that kind of fed into it. And so I was most surprised about that, most pleased about it. Not that I'm a parent and I have to worry about those things, but I think it places Apple directly in line with its consumers, and as a company that is concerned about safety and security and protecting those who might not otherwise be protected. The system was set up. I mean, I've mentioned this before. I really think that this was also a way for Apple to get on top of what might be coming in terms of government regulations. And basically,
Yep.
by doing this, they're like, okay, it's too late, Gov. We have turned this over to the parents, and that's the way it should be. Whereas I don't think other companies are going to have that convenience or that planning to be able to do it, given their ecosystems and giving what they have to happen. So for me, the biggest surprise was the parent. And I thought when it first started, I was listening to it. I wasn't watching it. When it first started, I thought, oh, this will be 10 minutes and then we'll get down to the real stuff. It went on for like 20 minutes. And I thought, this is, and with a big infrastructure set up to handle it. So that was the biggest surprise for me. Now, my mother-in-law for 2 years has been circling the airport, waiting for it to land, because AI hasn't told me that her plane has landed yet. Hopefully, there are terrorists at the airport. John McClane is out there. Maybe things will. No, that's Die Hard 2. But all of the promises that occurred 2 years ago with SAI, seem to have been, here it is. Watch us work this thing. So it seems to have come to fruition, and just the whole way in which they did AI platform was sort of what I was hoping they would do, what I was thinking they would do, and what I thought the delays were about. But yeah.
All right. How about you, Jill?
Yeah, and no surprise, I was interested in the AI material, and I said to my friend, my first thought was, is this going to be the first time where we're not spending our time trying to understand our new phone, and now it's going to be our new phone trying to understand us and get out of it what
I like that.
what we want out of that phone? And I thought, I think the day is coming where we will get a phone that understands us and knows what we want next. And I was pretty excited about that. The one thing I thought was funny is the other thing I said is the AI did look really good, and it reminded me of Pee Wee Herman when he fell off his bike and he pops up and says, "I meant to do that."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And how about you, Eric? What was your biggest surprise?
That SAI is a glowing sphere.
Yeah.
And it just
Hmm.
floating out there, waiting for you to look and make a query. And that Vision OS is here to stay. It's the best way to interact without having to touch a keyboard. And it's going to be a glorious future.
Yeah.
That, and you can search mail now.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
If search works at all, that's an improvement.
There you go. There you go. Guy, you made it back. You lost. Oh, he's
Oh,
still going.
for
We're going to move on.
pantomiming. Okay, first word. How many syllables?
Yeah. Well, we're going to go ahead and move on. We'll get you on the next one.
I think he said mama.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on. We're gonna hit the segment here about the SAI. So we can at least say now S instead of S lady, and Apple Intelligence. And all the exciting things that were announced. Jeff, we really appreciate all you brought your blog back, and you're giving us some great insights on a lot of topics, and this was a great blog post. And I wanted to, we obviously have to have it. That was one of the bigger discussions during WWDC was how Apple has done a lot of great things with AI. Finally, your blog which is in the show notes for the link is Apple's AI strategy is starting to look a lot smarter. And for the past 2 years, the narrative has been that Apple was behind. And after WWDC 2026, do you think people are finally seeing the strategy?
I think a lot of people aren't seeing the strategy, requiring my strong drive to write this post so that I could help them see it. Because I'm sure a lot of people, all they're seeing is, oh, Apple couldn't do it, so they had to pay Google instead. Which the point is really that that instead of getting totally caught up in sunk cost fallacy, Apple realized that they needed to stop spending money the way they were and go for a different strategy. And this new strategy is what I lay out in the blog post. So the new strategy is 2 parts. First, focus on making AI do the things that empower people, make their lives easier, make their computing experience better overall, more efficient, and not focus on the flashy, glitzy, in your face features. Not doing what Microsoft is, where AI is in your way everywhere you go. And then the second part is build a system where someone else is investing the metric buttloads of money into creating the infrastructure and the models, and then just buy into that and have a front end, if you will, that handles everything you want to do. And the back end part, in this case, the Gemini models that Apple is using from Google, That's an element that should Google get out of doing this or make changes that that Apple doesn't want or like, or some other company comes along and creates something that's better and more efficient, Apple can change or potentially give you access to multiple models. And that's ultimately the winning strategy, I think, because the AI race in the piece, I call it a Kobayashi Maru race, which means a no-win scenario. And all these companies are investing literally billions of dollars in trying to create the ultimate AI system that everyone uses. Not everyone can be a winner, especially in this race. So investing insane amounts of money into having your own system where the likelihood that every system is going to be the one that fails, it doesn't seem like a good bet or a good investment. So all these other companies, they take on the risk. Apple reaps the benefits of their efforts, and if any company that Apple wants to partner with goes under, well, Apple has the infrastructure in place so that they can, in a much easier and faster process, change to different models. And of course, it won't be seamless or completely painless, but it's a system that's in place where it's much easier to address than if they were so completely tied in from front to back, where they had to start over with a new one. Yeah, they don't have to do that. So
Yeah.
for all the companies that are investing insane amounts of money in this, Apple is one of the companies that's going to come in on top. Apple's going to be a winner in this race because of this new strategy.
Yeah. Chuck, I'm ringing you in on this. What was your thoughts on this with when it came to Apple's announcements here with the strategy?
I think I overlap with Jeff a bit, but I feel like, first of all, in fact, wait a minute here. Let's see what was said before. There, let's try this again. In conjunction with what Marty said, and also overlapping with Jeff, Apple. There's the theme I saw was that Apple is really leveraging their control of the operating system to integrate AI instead of making it something that you have to go do. That there are places here now. There are obviously places that you're going to want to invoke it. It's not the example of conjuring up a Safari extension. Yeah, you're going to have to consciously do that, but the way you're going to do it is so much more integrated than at least the way that right now all the other chatbots and artificial intelligence or LLMs are having you do it. And it feels like this kind of goes back to something we were saying pre-keynote about Apple Intelligence in things like photos, that you were using it, but you really didn't even think about it. We've been using various aspects of it with really without thinking about it. Now it's going to become maybe just a little more front and center, but it's not like, oh, I have to put on my AI hat and my AI gloves and go AI. That I'm going to do whatever it is that I have normally wanted to do, just maybe with a little bit different twist, but with a whole lot more power behind it. And this feels really, really good to me, because I think this, will the AI bubble pop? I have no idea, and what will that pop even look like? But it feels like this is not something that's going to pop. Now, the big question, of course, is, and that's everybody's asking, we kind of heard this story before, but this time we saw much better demos. We saw the split screen demos that were mentioned. I feel like this is kind of a game changer. If Apple can pull even a significant part of this off in time for the release, recognizing there are probably some features that won't be ready when the release comes, but if they can give you a significant piece of it and get you used to the idea, I think you're going to find that people are going to kind of forget about that it is AI. I sort of wish they had not named Siri AI. Whoops, I'm sorry, SYD AI. But on the other hand, maybe that was necessary. So because the S lady has gotten such a bad name up to this point. So I
the bad name part, Chuck, I don't think it matters. I mean, it matters in our tech bubble, but outside of the tech bubble, I don't think it's as big of a deal. And the name recognition is there, so just roll with it. And also, on a side note, um, I have now, as of today's Thursday, as of yesterday, I came up with a new term that I'm using. So instead of saying S lady, because I realized I'm playing into the whole patriarchy, women are subservient crap thing by doing that, I now call it S bot.
Okay.
So I ungendered the S platform, which makes sense because it literally has no gender anyhow. So it's now S bot to me.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll buy that, Jeff. It's funny that you say that because I've always referred to it as the S lady because the voice for me is female. But if you had a male voice,
that's why I started it.
Yeah, because easily be S man.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Hey, whatever works. It's that little voice that we're going to be talking to a lot more.
And hopefully saying thank you instead of, oh my God, you got it wrong. Again.
That's right. Guy, I'll bring you in. What would you like to add to this? I think the big difference between all of the various LLMs out there and what Apple is doing is that unlike most of them, Apple controls the whole widget. They control the hardware, they control the software, they control the operating system, and anything that they do that improves on the operating system by using something like SBot AI. Boy, there's a mouthful. Is only going to benefit Apple and Apple's users. I actually, before coming back from Florida, did something really stupid and put the beta on my phone before driving back up from Florida back up here to Northern Virginia.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, fortunately, I know the way. It's basically, okay, you get on I-95, you take a right, and you're there. It's just
until you get to Albuquerque.
13 hours.
Slow beach.
I think that that Apple is the overall winner in this. Google doesn't have it as integrated into what they're doing because they were concentrating on having it integrated into their browser, and Windows doesn't have it the way that Apple is doing it because they want it integrated into all of the various apps that they support outside of the actual Windows operating system. So having it so integrated with the operating system in a way that actually works instead of just flashy demos is a feather in Apple's cap. I don't think that if Apple chooses the wrong LLM, one that goes by the wayside, I don't think it's going to be simply a matter of swapping one out for the other. So if something happens to where it's not optimal for whatever reason, Apple would probably be better off just buying the company outright and keeping the infrastructure the way it is. But that's just what I think. All right. Let me bring everybody else in here real quick. Jill, where was your impressions on this?
Yeah, first of all, I loved Jeff's last line. Now is they have to prove it. That in the end, I was impressed. I thought it was great. I thought it was a little slow Honestly, the responses were a little bit slow, but here's the thing, is I was talking to my friend about it. Windows is the Wild West. It is not integrated, it's not unified, it's all over the place. Apple is going to make such a tight fit with everything that it's gonna work the way that you hope it works, and that's my hope in all of this. But, like I said, I felt like I got fooled before on this, where I was like, "Yeah, it's
Mhm.
finally coming." But the amazing thing is what Guy said, they have amazing hardware that could run these AIs independently. It's like they've been prepping for this their whole lives, and now I think, the time, and I'm excited.
Hey, Marty.
I think it's brilliant. I'm not worried about other AI systems because Apple started off by saying, "Hey, basically, we developed this thing called Foundation, which is with the help of the modeling from the Google folks. Um, they uh, they developed this foundation, which to me is what integrates everything across the Apple ecosystem, and also keeps it within that walled garden.
Mhm.
So there are guardrails on it.
Mhm.
So we're not talking about other AIs. We're talking about Apple's AI system with Foundation. When I thought about this, I thought about how do I use AIs now? How do I use LLMs? Most of my work comes through email. And they are either emails I have to respond to, emails with attachments that I have to do something with, but generally that is the functional piece that I use. And so, say I've got an email and it's going to require a complicated response. What do I do now? I copy the email, paste it into an LLM like Claude or ChatGPT, put in what I wanted to do, maybe throw in some documents that I wanted to refer to that I also have to pull into an external LLM to run it, get the response that I want, tweak it a little bit till it's really what I want, then copy and paste it and put it back into my email. What I think Apple is and what they demonstrated was you can make all those changes within the Apple ecosystem using SAI. And you don't have to necessarily. Now, am I going to try and do strategic planning using SAI? Probably not. I'm going to use an external LLM, something with a little bit more, at this point, something with a little bit more horsepower than what SAI can do. But for 80 to 90% of my work, it's all within that ecosystem of email documents and having to generate responses or adjust what I have within that system. So that's where I think the power of it is, because I think that's where a lot of people's work and purpose is with the apps they have within the Apple ecosystem.
All right. And then we'll finish off here with Eric, get your input on this, and we'll go and move on from there.
It's I was happy to see everything they talked about. It's a little bit early yet. There's a lot of stuff developers still have to do to integrate their apps to make it easy for SAI to communicate into the app. So in a way, it feels a little bit like when they were rolling out AppleScript and developers had to do one or two little things, and then you could script interactions. You're just doing it through a different agent. But it sounds like there's enough interest in it and enough interest from users that there'll be extra push. So I'm hopeful that it will be more complete than the AppleScript integration.
Okay. And then we touched on SAI, uh, and where we coming in here as far as that goes. Do you think this is finally the S Ladies users expected years ago? I don't think so. What do you think, Marty?
No, I never expected it to be this. I expected it to be this, excuse me. I never expected it to be ChatGPT or perplexity or anything like that. Given Apple's concerns, and basically their reputation is based on privacy and also keeping things within an ecosystem that makes things safe, I never expected, even when my mother-in-law was circling the airport and I was waiting for her to land, I never expected this to be anything more than what it is right now. Not a ChatGPT, not a Claude, nothing like that.
Yep. Jeff, your thoughts on that?
Okay. Apple has been in a difficult position with Siri from the beginning, I feel. So Siri, when it was created, it was a third-party app. And it's Siri, stop.
S lady.
SAI.
Yeah.
Spot.
I can't believe I just did that. Anyhow, so the S-Bot app, it had a very clear purpose, and it was in line with what it did for us at launch. The problem is we've all seen Star Trek, and everyone immediately made the leap from what the S-Bot was designed to do to Star Trek. And that's what everyone expected. And that's not something Apple was prepared to deliver, because that's not the product they bought. And so we've been going along all this time with people complaining about SBot not giving them the types of responses that Gbot or Abot can provide, and that's been a point of frustration for people for a long time. I think with what we have now with SAI, we're now getting into that space where the people that were frustrated because this whole system that was designed for use on a phone for very specific voice interaction things is now finally going to be doing more of what they expect it to. And that's a good thing. I think that will make a lot of people happy. And of course, then we'll have the small group that's like, well, yeah, but Apple had to buy Google stuff because they couldn't do it themselves. Whatever. Get over it, people.
Well, get over it. The fact is that Google provided them a LLM that's just theirs. It's exclusive to Apple.
Yeah.
You're not going to have the same one as what Gemini uses for everybody else out there. So that's unique in itself. I mean, hey, Apple realized they needed to reach out and get the help that they needed, and here we are. And I think that's going to be a huge thing.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, they had originally partnered with OpenAI, and apparently didn't come to be because they felt that Google was probably a better choice with their platform. So
yep. And bonus, Apple didn't have to spend the billions and billions of dollars and
right.
literal billions and billions of dollars that Google or OpenAI spent to build these models.
And let's remember as well that it's not like Google built this on their own either. They partnered up with other companies as well in order to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as is the same with a variety or with a majority of the LLMs out there, they don't exist in a vacuum. That these are companies that have brought in resources from across the technological divide in order to create the individual parameters of the large language models that they now have. And Apple is simply, not only is Apple reaping the benefits of these models without having to spend the kind of money that they did, they're also doing it in such a way that it still provides a private network for Apple users. So sure, these LLMs get the questions, but they don't get the information about where it came from.
Yep. Let's open up to the rest of the panel. You want to add anything to this that relates to this topic?
I was thinking in the pick for Gemini is just that OpenAI and Anthropic, how do I want to say it, are like toddlers in the tech industry. Google, Microsoft, Apple understand how corporate America works, the expectations of a signed contract. And I think that they met, you know what I mean? Like I think that Google could come and say, yes, we will do these things for you and we can provide it and it will happen the way you expect it to happen. As much as I'm not a Google fan, they understand advanced business concepts, I think, better. I don't know. That was just my thought.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I'll frame that a little bit differently, Joe, but I agree with you. I mean, OpenAI, Perplexity too, to some degree, everything seems to be a little bit shoot from the hip because they're all trying to one up each other. Not that Google isn't trying to one up each other, but it feels, to your point, they're a bit more grown up about it and a bit more reliable. And it feels like Apple could have done themselves damage by associating themselves with someone who is just, kind of a wild card. I mean, at least with Google, maybe it's better the devil you know.
Well, also remember that Apple and Google already have a very strong working relationship with
Exactly.
all of the things that they do with the browser in iOS and some of the other hooks that they have in each other. And I think that this isn't necessarily a bad thing. But part of the reason, probably part of the reason why Europe has such a problem with it is because Google and Apple just seem to be in bed with each other when it comes to this.
That and Apple keeps telling them to pack sand when the EU says reduce security, give us backdoors, take out encryption.
As
Why
well,
I love
shouldn't.
them.
I was just happy that it isn't the Google search app. This is an Apple thing. So,
Yes.
You're not sending your search requests off to another company to use to train. It's all separate. There's a bunch of stuff you can do that's on device that doesn't even go off elsewhere, which is a nice difference over some of the other AI apps that are out there where it always has to travel somewhere to get processed. So if you're sitting on a train or somewhere with no network, you still can do some things.
Yep. All right. So let's kind of go away from Apple Intelligence. I think we did a good job covering that, and let's talk about some of the hidden features that Apple didn't have time to show. But one of the things, well, actually, I'll talk about one thing that they did show was liquid glass. I wanted to hear everybody's opinion on that. Is the fact that they put the bar in place now. You can make it lighter, make it darker, however you'd like. I just kind of open up to everybody here and see what were their first impressions and thoughts of where that is. I'll start with you, Chuck.
Boy, I'm sorry that I can't quote exactly from memory the way that they introduced it, but liquid glass is in an evolution. It's still morphing.
Yeah.
Once again, I think unlike the Apple of old, they are really listening to people, and they're not about to abandon something just because people don't get it yet. But they are not above tweaking it, and that's what we saw. That now you're still going to have the kind of the liquid glass effect, but you can intensify or minimize it to an extremely large degree based on what we saw. Now I haven't had my hands on it yet, so I feel like maybe the whole liquid glass thing just may go away, assuming that they've given sufficient controls to make it not an issue for the accessibility community or just the people that don't like it. But I felt really good about that because liquid glass hasn't bothered me even a little bit. It's just, okay, this is the way it is. But for some folks, it's a major stumbling block. And Apple is addressing that.
Yeah. Anybody else have their thoughts on this?
Well, I think it was nice they listened to consumers complain. I have no complaints about it. I couldn't care less about liquid glass one way or the other. But people complained, and it said that, I think the message was, we made it beautiful. And what people were saying is, can you make it a little less beautiful so I could read my screen? And they did. And that's always a good thing.
Yeah. Now that this is fixed, there'll be no more complaints about Apple.
Right.
Hooray!
I think
Finally.
everything is tied up perfectly now. I'm just waiting. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Dude.
Now there's a new complaint about Apple. Just never ends.
I'll tell you the problem that I had with liquid glass, and it's from a design aspect. It was clearly designed to be cool looking and pretty, but I think Apple sacrificed visibility in many cases, and for people that have vision requirements, when you lose that contrast, you lose the context of what's there if you can see it at all. And to me, that was the big problem. And what I ended up doing, not because I needed to have the higher contrast because of my vision, but because it was just crappy contrast, I went in and started turning off everything I could related to liquid glass so that I could actually see things on the screen better. And then they did an update that addressed some of that, and so that was fine. Now with the beta on my iPad Mini and that much more granular control over what's happening with liquid glass, I feel like it's now at a point where this is a reasonable general use interface element. Because now the people that have the vision requirements, the contrast issues, that's much easier to address. And then if it's an aesthetic thing for you, where you're just like, I don't like it because blah. Okay, whatever. Now you have the buttons. You can change it. So shut up.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Anybody else want to add anything to this?
Liquid glass wasn't too bad on the iPad, but I really didn't like it on macOS. And they seem to have gone through and kind of equalized things between all the OSs. They're more consistent. So it's not like a jarring, oh, this doesn't work here. And patching and fixing and if something works in one spot, it now works in the other spot. That was really good to see.
Yeah. All right. So there's so many other hidden features. We could probably go 2 hours alone on just this, but I wanted to just hit some of the fine points. I'll give one more here. They did report there is faster app launches. The AirDrop, they were talking about that. If anybody didn't see that slide on the event, it was ridiculous. I mean, I took that slide and put it in the ChatGPT. I had, give me a list of all these things. You can't even see them. They're so small. There's 250 total. But of course, why did I do that? Because I knew MacRumors or other sites would probably already do it for me. But I just wanted to see what it would do. But there's just an incredible amount of stuff here. So, but they did talk about faster app launches, faster AirDrop transfers, faster photo processing. I did notice that. I tried it on the iPhone 17e and did some of the adjustments you can do now on it, and it worked pretty solid for a phone that doesn't have it anywhere near the speed as 17 Pro or Pro Max has. And I think some of that stuff is I think was in place. It needs to be improved, like improving with animations and system responsiveness is another thing that they had to look at. So, do you think these performance improvements, anybody that is more important than these flashy AI features? Anybody think?
I am super happy for the performance and features. Performance improvements. There we go.
Yeah, for you especially.
It's yeah, I know I'm a prima donna and I complain about
Nah.
ridiculous little things, but at the same time, if you have stuff that slows down what you're doing, a few seconds here, a few seconds there adds up over the day, the week, the month, and then at the end of the year, it's like that was a lot of time lost. So any place you can shave that time off, it's great. And I did notice on my 6th gen iPad mini, after installing Dev Beta 1, the iPad performance is markedly improved over the general public release, the latest release of iPadOS 26.
That's good.
Yeah, but I mean, performance improvements across the board, I will take that any day over a flashy new feature.
Yeah, I've noticed that the iPad OS 27, however, is working much better than iPhone OS 27 with less bugs.
Mhm. Yep.
You know,
As far as characterizing as flashy features, the jury's still out. Again, we haven't had our hands on it, but I don't feel like I saw anything that was flashy for the sake of flashy, at least nothing that's jumping to mind right now. Maybe somebody has an example, but they were real world they were demonstrations of real world things that that more than likely would want to do at some point.
Mhm.
And so, I'm with Jeff. Any performance improvement is good, but I felt like if there has to be a balance, then yeah, do the features, do them well. We were talking earlier about how the demos weren't loading quite fast enough. Well, there've been a couple places. I saw Jaws comment that, even now that they had taped that a little bit earlier, and that even as now the current betas are faster than what we saw, and the performance is just going to get better. So I mean, was there a feature that somebody considered a flashy feature that you would just never use or don't think it will be around long?
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I've worked for Microsoft and I worked for 2 software companies, and when you get performance problems, there's always a crisis meeting. What can we do? How can we shave off seconds? How can we and it becomes a problem where you've lost customers because you have horrible performance. And to see it sucks because you spend a lot of development energy to improve performance on something that gives people nothing new. And so you hate to do it as a software company because you've wasted a lot of development hours on, oh, by the way, nothing's new, or we spent 3,000 hours and nothing is changing. And it's hard to do. It's a hard decision for a software company to make, and I'm glad they made it because you never want to get to that crisis meeting.
Yep. Anybody else?
There were things they fixed that I think they fixed because it was really bothering them personally. Something like you reboot your Vision Pro and you have no network and you twiddle your thumbs waiting, maybe play some solitaire until it actually comes back. They fixed that. Some engineer was really, really annoyed by it and got, lots of feedback. It's great now. So, if everybody who was annoyed by something got a chance to fix one of their pet bugs, I really like when they kind of go back and they spend a year making things work better because everything they didn't have enough time for before, they're taking time to fix now.
Okay.
Yeah,
related to that. Oh, go ahead, Marty. And I'll do
the
mine.
complaints that I've heard thus far have been the abandonment of Intel Macs, and that it won't run on Intel Macs, and that Rosetta 2 has got another year. Folks who have old machines expect the machines to stay contemporary, even running on completely different silicon, and yet they still want it all 10 years later. So that's the complaints I've heard about it.
Yeah, we're coming up on 7 years, people. Come on.
I suggest that they take their CDs and go out and stick them in their 8-track player and see what happens.
I have a show title there.
Halfway through a song, you have to pull the CD out and turn it over.
Yeah.
8 tracks.
That's great.
Mm.
All right, so let's hit on a couple individual items that they really didn't cover too much on, but I wanted to hit on Vision Pro here real quickly here. They added a number of features. I think Marty, Eric, and I were very surprised. We talked about earlier this week. But there's some pretty nifty things that they added, including the panorama environments where you can actually use one of your panorama photos and make it into an environment. I know, Eric, you've been experimenting with that quite a bit, and that was pretty cool, I believe, wasn't it not? I did it as well.
Yeah, I want to do more with that too, but and they can use higher resolution images and so and it adds depth when you do it. So it's like extra bonus.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So and we also got extra small widgets they've added, which I think was cool. It's the spatial scenes from panoramas you can do. And enhanced flyover, as well as smooth scrolling. And I did notice some improvements of that as well. But, Marty, what was your impressions of some of these as well?
First impression was loading up the startup with Vision OS. Once you got it loaded, it snaps to whereas you're usually sitting with 26, you're sitting for a couple of minutes till everything boots up. This boots up really quick when you're doing. That's the first thing that I noticed. Started to play around with panoramic photos and putting them into environments, and that's pretty cool. The idea of widgets and the idea of, and I don't think it's there. At least I haven't been able to find it. The wonderful orb of SAI floating that Eric talks about, that it's now an intelligent being floating in your visual space. I haven't been able to activate that yet, so that might be coming in 0.1 or 0.2 rather of 27.
Oh, Dave, you're muted.
Yeah, I think Dave's muted.
Oh yeah, well, I was trying to keep the thunder but hitting here, but I think that's some pretty exciting things that we're coming with Vision Pro, and I'm glad to see that Apple isn't doomed. They're not canceling it. It's still here, and here to stay. Just they got the technology is continuing to evolve. So,
well, the extra small widgets, it's like, so you get a tiny widget, big what? But if you use Mac Virtual Display, especially if you have more than one device, you can set up a small widget button that when you click it, just connects to that device. And once you've connected to both different devices, created 2 different widgets, it can bounce back and forth between the different devices. Really convenient.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. So, and I had to bring up HomePod for the sake of Jeff's enjoyment here, and
you just like triggering me, don't you?
Because we like talking about HomePod, because one of these days it's going to get better. But I don't know. I just don't. I don't see where it's going here. So, but they did add the support to Auto Mix, which is Apple's AI-powered Apple Music feature that blends songs using matching keys and tempos. That's cool. It's underlying algorithms to generate more transition types, making more seamless blends between tracks. So there's a lot of great things when it comes to that. As far as that goes. If you were worried if the OG HomePod's going to continue to be supported, it will be, surprisingly enough, because that launched in 2018, was discontinued in 2021. I have 2 of them, and they still work. Pretty amazing. And it will work with iOS 27 when it comes to that. Did you see anything else that caught your eye? I know, Jeff, I know this has been still pretty new.
No, although I'm not surprised that HomePod OG is still supported. I
Either.
I think that dropping update support for that model would that'd be some bad optics.
Yeah, look.
I mean, yes, I know it's old, and the HomePod you heard talk to me a couple minutes ago, sitting right over here. That's an OG HomePod. I think Apple is better off letting those all just trickle out through the attrition of hardware failure over time, because it's a speaker, and I think that there's a lot of people that if their speaker stopped working, they would start flipping tables in a big way. So just keep rolling out support for it and string it along. And if the newer HomePod ends up getting features that the OG doesn't support, okay, well, whatever. Just keep stringing it along. Let it do the basic things.
Yeah, and there's really no reason to stop supporting it. It's this is something that the lowest level engineer at Apple, they can just give it to Fred. Fred will take care of it. And that'll be the end of it right there. And again, sooner or later they will all break or stop working on their own, and they're relatively cheap enough to where I don't think it really matters that much.
Yeah.
The software difference between the Mini and the full size HomePod and OG, the differences are probably minimal enough at the software level that it's not costing them really that much extra to continue supporting OG HomePod.
Just ask Fred.
Yeah, let's ask Fred.
Yeah. So another thing that I found to be funny, and I would agree with this. This was in Mac Observer here. iOS 27 lets you disable the iPhone feature Justin Bieber complained about. And does he get that much influence to Apple? That's why I said Apple appears to have responded to a complaint that millions of iPhone users, including me, and I'm sure all of us, can relate to, including pop star Justin Bieber. With iOS 27, Apple has added a new option that users can now hide the dictation button from the messages text field. Hallelujah! I hit that dang thing all the time. And this is what Bieber was criticizing last year. And he went to social media with his big complaints, and it went viral. So in iOS 27, that is going to be fixed. You go to Settings, Apps, Messages, and Show in Text field. Once turned off, the microphone icon no longer appears in the entry area. Oh my God! I can't be the only one here that gets frustrated with that.
Every damn day. Seriously, Bieber?
Seriously,
Bieber
of all people.
It's okay. I have a feeling there are a lot of other people that are known that have complained about this feature. I mean, you're Dave frickin' Ginsburg, and you've complained. Why didn't they put you in the article instead of Bieber?
There you go.
I didn't even know he was still alive.
I want the feature back just to tick off Bieber.
Have Apple take it away and then say, oops, there he is again, Justin, just to see what he'll do.
As if we care.
Yeah.
No, if he's frustrated, I care about that. I want him to be frustrated.
Oh,
at any time I accidentally tap that and start recording audio, I'm now going to refer to that as a joiner cast.
Mm-hmm.
And Chuck, I say that with love. Wear that as a badge of honor.
Yes,
because you now have a feature name on my phone.
So it's the Joiner podcast because of the Bieber effect.
Right. So yeah, if I accidentally send any of you an audio message like that, you got a joiner cast from me.
I really don't think Chuck was looking for any more stinking badges.
And yet here we are. Life is weird that way. No,
Well,
looks to me
that's
like
how
Chuck's getting his badge on right now.
That's how warp speed weirdos started.
Yes, there's the badge of honor.
Yeah. Warp speed weirdos. This is how I end up in so many podcasts. It's like recording something with someone, and the next thing you know, they've put it on all the podcatchers, and I'm like, oh, how did I commit to another one? And yet here we are.
It was your idea.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Yeah,
Because I actually
sorry.
can't refute that.
Oh. Yeah, but there's just a long list of things that they did enhance. Well, we'll cover this in the next couple of weeks here, just to kind of just take it all in, because Apple, as I said earlier, the way they did this presentation is they just put everything together, and then really the focus of this was Apple Intelligence. Last thing I will wrap up with is the child safety features. I have to mention that because that was an incredible amount of time during the presentation. Did you guys find that it was a little longer than it should have been? Because it was a lot. I understand how important it is, but I felt it'd be a little long.
It was long for us, but it was as long as it needed to be for the target audience, which was not
the target
us.
audience. Yeah,
It was the right length for governments and regulatory agencies to get all the information that they needed to see.
Yeah, that's what everybody was saying.
For a minute there, Jeff, I was thinking, wait a minute, I think it was too long for parents too. And well, I don't think parents necessarily tuned into WWDC's keynote. And then you mentioned it's long enough for the governments, and you're probably right there.
Yeah, and but Marty, you deserve a shout out because you were saying before today that you felt that, and I'm paraphrasing here, Apple was pandering to governments with that part, letting them know that they've already got it. You don't need to regulate us.
Yeah, and it's we've already passed it on to the parents. Now go ahead and take that on, government, if you want to take that on.
Yep. No.
So does anybody think this will make any difference in the restrictions by what? Is it Mississippi and what was the other state that did it?
Was it Louisiana?
Might have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
But will they back off on some of their age verification stuff, you think?
Yeah.
I don't think they will, because I think their legislation was mostly performative anyhow. Like they didn't understand what they were doing with their legislation.
Fair point.
Are we talking about Louisiana or the EU?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just think that this is such a hot topic. Parents have to know their kids, because it's, I don't know. I just think that I know there's a lot of pandering going on. And I think, too, that it also puts the other ones like Google on call to say, hey, what are you going to do now? I don't know what they have already. I don't know enough about what they do and they don't do. But, I guess I'm not taking. I think if I were a parent, this would be incredibly important to me. And then the fact that the parents get to decide, because otherwise this would be endless fighting. Well, what about this and not that? Well, what about that and not this? Oh, I can't believe you banned this. And now this just said, here's the tools, you do it. I think it's great.
Here's the thing, though, Jill. I haven't seen this in popular press. Like the kind of stuff that would be, it's not like this is showing up on Good Morning America. Hey, parents, look what Apple's done. It at least, I don't watch Good Morning America, but I just has not gotten past tech people at WWDC. And if it's such a thing for parents, you would think the media would pick up on it and start saying, talking about it.
Yeah. Well, WWDC is a different thing. It's us. It's the developers. And when it shows up in the September show, and parents are going to be, finally, I feel like I can get my kid a phone, before I felt unsure about it.
Yeah. Good point.
Marty, I think another part of the problem, and Jill, you're right, but Marty, I think another part of the problem is that the people in media that are covering the tech spaces
Are unable to reproduce. I mean, sorry, I didn't.
there's that. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Unable to.
She's got her cruel shoes on. This is nice. This is a new pair
Jill,
of
this is
shoes
one of the
for
many
Jill.
reasons why I love you. You're an awesome
Wow.
friend.
Wow. That needle went in
That was-
smooth, Joe.
Yeah,
Sure did.
zing. Anyhow, a lot of those people that apparently are unable to breed, they don't get how to cover this industry anymore.
Right.
And they can't discern where the important elements are, and they're just looking for the flashy, what's going to get more clicks or more views tonight and tomorrow, versus what are the things that really matter for people to know about.
Yeah.
Eric, are you okay? Just making sure.
Well, let him get him back his wits and to himself here. But let's talk some of what was announced. They did expand some of the child account protections, which was great. So you got the full protection, and parents have complete more granular controls. Really, what I saw through all of these. Improved parental controls. It's got better age-appropriate experiences. So now you can actually lock it down per app, be able to go down and decide, hey, this app is not appropriate, or don't allow it to be installed. It's kind of like an MDM what I'm dealing with work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for kids, and then safer communications features, so they can really keep things safe. Who they shouldn't be talking to, and then enhanced family managed tools. The tools were pretty enhanced and and a lot of it's built right into the operating system, which is great with iOS, especially. And I think Apple really is walking that fine line between protecting children and preserving privacy, in my opinion, because privacy is so paramount with what Apple does, and that line is a bit of a fine line there, but protecting children as well. But that's the way it is, unfortunately, in this world. And this is great to see what Apple is doing. You don't hear this on any Android device that I'm aware of, anyway.
That's right.
Well, on Android devices, correct me if I'm wrong, because they don't have that tight integration that Apple has across the entire hardware software ecosystem. I don't think you can do this on Android.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would take Google doing a whole thing where they develop a whole new set of APIs, and then you have to get developers to buy into actually incorporating those APIs into their software.
And then you would have to have all the devices agree to support all of those. And then you have to get the users to agree to buy just the devices that are supported by them.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so with that, I think we can safely say we covered quite a bit of stuff tonight, and I think Apple Intelligence is going to continue to be the big thing now. Finally, after us waiting here 2 years, Apple finally do something, and it's going to be fun to watch, honestly, and see where things go, and see how this beta continues on. It is beta 1. You'll have that out for a while. And in fact, Apple's still doing beta on the 26.6. We didn't even talk about that tonight. So I would think beta testers at this point, I guess Apple wants you to still help them keep that being tested, because that's going to get a release very soon for the current OS of iOS 26. iOS 27 is going to be fun to play with. A lot of great things to explore, and we'll cover it here, and definitely to check things out as we go here. So with that, we're going to go wrap up. But before that, I want to find out where everybody can be found. And I'm going to start with Guy Serle. Thank you for being your guy.
I'd like to think that I'm a trendsetter. So,
You are.
everything that happens after this is on everyone else. You can find me over on the G-Men show with currently a wide variety of different people coming on while I still wait on to hear from Gaz. You can get a hold of me via our email address, which is gmenshow@icloud.com. You can get a hold of us through or Skies of Blue as Vert Shark or MacPettit. And our Google Voice number is 703-828-4677. And that's what I got.
All right. Thanks, Guy. Chuck Joyner, great to have you here this week. Mayor Commissioner, I want to put a link in the show notes for that great episode you did with the MacPaw folks. And we'll make sure we link back to that because that was a great session you did with them. So other than that, where can people find you?
Well, thank you, Dave. Yeah, that session was a whole lot of fun. So you can find me at macvoices.com. That's where we're releasing Road to Macstock shows. There are going to be several interviews that I actually taped with some of the MacPaw folks that are not what Dave's referring to, but some individual interviews coming out shortly. Believe it or not, there's still stuff coming out from NAB because there was so much stuff there. The live show is Tuesday nights at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV at 8 p.m. And on the socials, you can find me at Chuck Joyner. Thanks. It's good to be back.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Keep your head down, man.
Yeah, there was a tornado warning earlier tonight that I was panicking a little, but I held my own here. Toto! Yeah. Jeff Gamet, thank you for being here. Thanks for your insights about your blog this week and AI, and where can people find you?
Well, thanks for calling out my blog posts. You rock.
Of course.
People can find me on my blogs, jeffgamet.com and freshfruittales.com, and then jgamet on most of the social medias. I'm active right now mostly on Mastodon, PixelFed, and Blue Sky. And then for podcasts, there's Chuck's Mac Voices Live on Tuesdays, here with you, Dave, for In Touch with iOS on Thursdays. Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch. Apparently, every now and then, Guy and I do Warp Speed Weirdo, so get ready for some more ridiculous Star Trek content coming at some point. And then also there's the show that I think all of us, I'm not sure, are involved in, that does its first show tomorrow as we record Friday. Tech Hangout.
It's back. I'll make sure I link back to that as well. Patrice, after the British Tech Network has headed off into the sunset after 18 years, she brought it back, and a number of us will be there tomorrow morning recording it at I think 11 a.m. Eastern time. So we'll definitely link to that, and that's exciting news. Thanks for mentioning that, Jeff. Eric Bolden, thank you for being here, and always great with your insights. Where can people find you?
Be here out of the rain. I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mes.to. Otherwise, Sunday nights on the Notebook. Mondays on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays on Mac Voices Live. And, of course, here Thursdays on In Touch with iOS.
Thank you so much. Jill McKinley, thank you for being here, and some of your zingers you had tonight were pretty good. I appreciate it. But where can people find you?
Well, I apologize to the zinged. I also fit in that category. Unable to date. So anyway, you can find me at jillfromthenorthwoods.com. You can find me in a month at Macstock. That's where you can find me. And I'm doing a brand new show called Small Steps with AI, where I just talk about using AI in everyday life situations.
Thank you. Marty Jencius, thank you for being here. It was great to see you last weekend. We had a nice dinner and got to hang out with your fam, and that was great stuff to see. But where can people find you?
You can find me again Sunday nights on the Neo Notebook, Mondays on Vision Profiles, Tuesdays with Chuck on Mac Voices, and Thursdays here on In Touch with iOS. And I will be there tomorrow morning for the Tech Hangout.
Yes.
So, yeah, lots of projects. Check out thepodtalk.net. And I'm on all the socials at Jencius, Jencius.
Great. And yes, let me make sure I forgot to mention MacStock. MacStock 10 is going to be July 10th, 11th, and 12th. It's coming up 27 days, according to their website. I can't believe it. I got to finish my presentation. But yeah, come see us. It's macstockconference.com. We're going to have a lot of fun. David Pogue's going to be there for a night. We may even have surprises, some potential celebrations of shows and such, when you never know. Mike Potter just sent out the latest newsletter and a lot of good, exciting things. The schedule's in place, so go check it out, macstockconference.com. And if you do decide to join us, we have a discount code of InTouch. You can use that at checkout and save $50 off. Also, July 9th, you'll be able to join us with eCam and have an eCam creator camp, the MacStock edition. So come join us. InTouch is the code, and put that in the cart, and you will be joining us. So come check us out. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky and Mastodon at InTouchWithIOS. Support the show. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We appreciate it. You can also go become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we are live streaming. It's on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Thanks, Witherbucket. You're putting some great comments in tonight. Appreciate you being here. And we have the live streams are left behind, and you can also listen to past shows out there. And if you also can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts and Overcast and Apple Podcasts and many others. But better yet, go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are out there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on some shows, which includes Neo Notebook on Sundays, Vision Profiles on Mondays, Mac Voices Live on Tuesdays, here on Thursdays, and Friday, the Tech Hangout's coming up. So hopefully you'll get to hear that next week. But until then, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed doing it, and we'll be covering more WWDC its content as we go here. So, but hope you join us back next week. Thanks again, and we'll talk again soon.